It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by AgileDad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. Happy Monday and happy Memorial Day. In the United States, we're celebrating a holiday called Memorial Day, and many people don't know the history of Memorial Day, so I thought I would take an opportunity on this Monday to share a little history lesson with you. So it dates back to 1865, just after the close of the Civil War. A local druggist in Waterloo, New York, suggested placing flowers on the graves of fallen soldiers in his community. The following year, another area resident, General John B. Murray, led the small village in putting flags at half mast and decorating the gravestones of soldiers buried in the town's 3 cemeteries. They repeated their efforts the following year. Many other communities in both the North and the South of the United States also honored their war dead during this time period. General John A. Blackjack Logan spearheaded the idea of the National Day of Remembrance for fallen Civil War soldiers in 1868. Logan, a former Union general, was the national commander of the Grand Army of the Republic, which constituted living veterans of the war. On May 5th of 1868, the Grand Army of the Republic issued General Order Number 11 to designate May 30th, 1868 as the day to decorate and commemorate the graves of fallen comrades of the late Civil War. The wording of the order is very specific. Let us then, at the time appointed, gather around their sacred remains and garland them with the choicest flowers of springtime. Let us raise above them the dear old flag they saved from dishonor. In this solemn presence, renew our pledge to aid in and assist those whom they have left among us, the soldiers and sailors, widow and orphan. The order later became known as the Memorial Day Order and can be read on the website of the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs as part of the National Cemetery Association. On this date, at Arlington National Cemetery, more than 20,000 gravestones of both Union and Confederate veterans were remembered. General James A. Garfield, who later became President of the United States, and other political leaders spoke to an audience of more than 5,000 persons. In following years, May 30th became known as Decoration Day, a national day of remembrance for the Civil War dead. After the end of World War I in 1918, the scope of Decoration Day expanded to include all war dead since the Revolutionary War. The name gradually gave way to Memorial Day, a term first used in 1882 that did not become more generally accepted until after the end of World War II. A 1968 Act of the United States Congress, which went into effect in 1971, formally calendared the dates of several national holidays, including Labor Day, Veterans Day, and Memorial Day, the latter to be held in perpetuity on the last Monday in May, where Veterans Day, honoring all veterans who have served rather than just the dead, is held on November 11th. Interestingly, not every part of the United States fully supported Decoration Day. The Civil War created divisions even in peacetime. Long after the guns fell silent in 1865, a number of the southern states have over the years honored their own Confederate dead on specific dates. In Mississippi, for example, they remember Memorial Day the last Monday of April. Both North Carolina and South Carolina observe this date on May 10th. In Virginia, the last Monday of May is observed as with most of the country, but it is often called Confederate Memorial Day. Interesting. Who knew so much history could be wrapped in a day? Now, my question for you is, how do you celebrate Memorial Day? What do you do to honor the memory of those who've fallen? I know one of our favorite pastimes is to go and do family research and see if we can learn more about our ancestors who were fallen on that day, or visit cemeteries if we're close to those, so that we can actually visit the places where our ancestors are rested. Another thing that you can do is explore and honor your own war dead. So there's a whole bunch of podcasts and genealogy websites and different things you can do through the Veterans Administration and VFW halls, etc., that will help you honor those who have fallen and to help you come up with creative ideas to teach your children about the importance of this day and to teach us all about what we can do to be mindful. One of the things that I think is a tragedy that's happening in today's day and time is that we're in many cases erasing history or removing history from things that have happened. And I'm happy to say, I'm proud to say that I don't believe that that's something we should be doing. I think that the only way we can better plan for our future is to learn from our past. And if we're eliminating the past, future generations won't have that past to lean on and they can stumble and make the same mistakes that we did. So, my challenge for you this Memorial Day is to not only be mindful of those who have passed on before you, but to find creative ways to help make sure that your children and your grandchildren and their grandchildren have the means necessary to learn about all these powerful events that happened in the United States so that we can make sure that we don't repeat the same errors of our past. That's going to do it. I hope you've enjoyed this Memorial Day episode of the Daily Stand Up Podcast. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.